Okay, we now go to item number 3. And item 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 7 all are all requests for some changes in road maintenance, some new considerations to be made. And so at this time, as a chair, I kind of see them all as one, and then I kind of see them all as separate. So I think we will begin to hear from the residents, and then once we've heard from everyone, then I think at that time we can respond, and I would like my fellow commissioners to help me to decide how to move forward on that. How do you guys want to go one item at a time? Because to me, they are separate and they deserve separate consideration. On the other hand, it's kind of a collective decision as well. So, you know, let's work together to get through the agenda, to hear your requests, and then we will decide how we'd like to respond, whether specifically or all together, depending on how this board is feeling. So, Commissioner Freiberger, how would you like to proceed?
I have looked at it. There's been several added since the agenda first came out, and I'm in agreement that, you know, we're talking about the road issues just in different locations. One of the things that I would like to do is the roads that we approved at the last commission meeting have been on the agenda several times. The road 102 had been a passion of mine that I had worked with the residents out there. And I had gotten several cost analysis on it, several opinions from legal on it. And these are things that I think if we can look at these roads, because we did say that we would look at each one. But I believe our road department should be able to look at these roads, give us a cost analysis as to what kind of expenditures we may incur and what kind of problems that we may incur on improving these roads. I can say that it's been 12 years from what I've been able to research that the commission has approved an additional road added on. So I don't want to get the hopes of the people that are in this audience up that this is going to be because we approved 2, that it'll be easy to prove more. Each one of them has to be individually looked at.
Commissioner Tapia?
I'm going to say it again, that's why we shouldn't have approved the 2, because there's work needed to be done with us and our road department and a map to find out what roads are green, what roads are red, and which ones have been taken off, how many miles we've taken off that we haven't put back on, what our road department's budget is. And so for me, I'm against any of the roads right now because we have got to do that first. We've gone against council, we've gone against our ordinances, and we've gone against our road department's requests or information to us. So for me, we need to do that first before, we got to find out where we're at before we start saying, let's turn them into red and turn them into green.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Tapia, Commissioner Freiberger. In respect to all the residents that took time to be here today so that they could be heard, I will respect that you did submit an agenda request. And I'm going to save my comments for after I've heard from everyone. So at this time, we will begin with the first request. And it looks like this request is item number 3, request for the County of Torrance to adopt Hemis Road. The road is a main artery into Sunset Acres and is heavily traveled. It looks like this request was brought forth by Tomas Torres, and we have also at the second one, Carlos Valdez, and we have John Salcedo, Kimberly Johnson, Randy Johnson residents. So it looks like these kind of tie in together. So if you guys would like to come to the podium, I certainly would like to take your comments into consideration.
I'm going to change the disc right now.
Okay. And I'll be just a moment while she changes the disc. Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome.
Madam Chair, board members, my name is Carlos Valdez, and I'd like to thank you for giving us an opportunity to speak about our roadway. I live on Hemis Road. I've lived there since 97, and the road continues to degrade, and it's in really, really poor condition. It's basically unsafe. There's potholes on potholes. I mean, it's really, really, really bad. It hasn't been gravelled in many, many years. I drive about one block to the paved road, but that one block is what's really, really miserable. And we have concerns. We have gas meters out there. We have people that do not slow down, and they hit those potholes. And then in the wintertime, especially when it gets icy, they slide right into the paved road. And it's a really, really, really bad situation. The dust at times becomes unbearable. I'm not the cleanest guy in the world for dusting, but it's like I'm constantly dusting just because of the dust that goes through there. And Tom is my neighbor across the street. We've actually had some of the residents on our street go out with shovels and try to patch up holes, and it just continues to get worse. And so hopefully, and I realize that Torrance County is a big county, and I realize there's a lot of tax revenue that goes into other things. But we really would like, for please consider our roadway.
Thank you so much.
My name is Tomas Torrance. I just want to add that it appears that the whole of Sunset Acres, or virtually the whole of those people there, use that artery to go back and forth. So it's very heavily traveled. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Were there any questions for the gentleman from the table?
I have none. Thank you.
Okay. So now we'll ask,
Anybody else from Jemez?
we had Carlos Valdez. Is there a John Salcedo, Kimberly Johnson, Randy Johnson present?
Feel like I'm in school.
Just start by stating your name and
My name's Jeannie Sacedo. My husband's John Sacedo. I live on 40 Hamus Road. Our road is really, really bad. I mean, it's really where the UPS man goes, the Estancia Valley Waste Solid, the electric, the gas company, the school buses even go on there. And it's just full of potholes. Your car, if you go so fast, I don't know how people do. I don't know who's gonna pay for all the maintenance on the vehicles. And again, my husband, my son, the neighbor went down the road to patch it with, try to get dirt on the side with shovels. And there was a man across the road that owns his own private property. He was cleaning up the lot. He had to have his private tractor come over and haul a load of dirt just to, try to get the road to, because it's like that, like that, like that. When you turn the corner, you go down into the gutter, and we don't know what to do, and the water overflows. It gets sloppy, muddy, and it's really hard to even ride a bike down that road. And people we even posted a speed limit sign for 25, and they go down there about 50, and we can't even get a cop I call the police to see if we can get anybody to go out there to, sit down there or even shoot radar just to, let them know that they're being seen. And we can't get nobody out there. And, the fire department, we did have a fire out there, in fact, this year, and I don't know how the fire department got out there. And there's an old man down the road that's on oxygen. The ambulance has to get down there, and it's even hard for them to get down on Hamish Road. So, we'd just like to see if we can get some kind of maintenance done on our road.
How long is Jemez Road?
It goes from the east side all the way to the west side, to the end of the cattle farm. And the bad part is, on the west side, they did the asphalt. And they went just on a circle, and they didn't even do Hamish Road, and that's the main road. From the east side all the way to the west side.
Okay.
Can I ask you, do you have an estimation of about how many residents
Let's see.
live on Jemez?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 15 to 20 people on Hamish Road. Like I say, that's a really, everybody uses, that's one of the main roads out there.
We'd love to hear from you as well, ma'am. Do you have any comments?
Actually, I'm not on your agenda. I'm with Jeannie Salcedo. I am a school bus driver. I did have that route. I now do all my run in Edgewood now.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Yeah, Verna McDaniel. It is bad. The buses are going to continue to tear it out. I mean, I took my Pathfinder down it and almost buried it. It's so bad down there. I bottomed out in a Pathfinder. That's a four-wheel drive vehicle. You shouldn't even come close to potholes like that. You can't even pull into that place. And it's not just Hamus Road. When they say it's the artery, it is. I lived there. I lived on Sandia, which is 2 blocks back. In order to get out, you have to take Hamus Road to get out. There's 8 roads back there. And all 8 of them come into Hamus Road. And it is really, really bad. Something needs to be done. I mean, I know there's other roads that need to be maintained. They finally got the ones in Edgewood done. Bless their hearts. Because when you're in a bus, we're ripping our buses apart is what we're doing. And then we're going to have to come to you to get new buses. Because, I mean, it's literally making the parts fall off the buses.
Well, we appreciate that. I know I've talked to bus drivers in my district as well, and your feedback is very important because you do go up and down those roads on a daily basis with our children. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, is there anyone else here in regards to Hemis Road? Okay, since there aren't any other requests on that road, why don't we now go to item number 6, which is request county maintenance on Camino del Sol County Maintenance, Adam Baca resident. And let the record reflect that I will be recusing myself from any consideration on this road because he is my husband's cousin. And so I've tried to continue to do that, and I'm going to stick to that. So is Adam Baca present?
He's not going to be here today because he's having...
We have a family emergency. Thank you. Okay, so we can hear from him at a different time. We have discussion now on item 7 on Green Road for Slipaway Lane in Torreon. I know Betty Lillian Nuhan is here, and I think her son was going to come forward and make this presentation.
Commissioner, my name is Eugene Lujan. I'm speaking on behalf of my mom, Betty Lujan. We're just talking about trying to get our slipaway lane to be a green road again. It's been a green road back since like 1940s. About 9-10 years ago when Martin Gutierrez took over that district, for some apparent reason, the road disappeared from a green road. I know from you guys' past meeting, you guys approved 2 roads that have never been touched before, and you guys approved them as red roads. And I agree, I believe Mr. Tapia was correct that you guys need to go back to your policies and your bylaws that they have to be maintained and stuff before they become even a red road. And so we're just requesting to be touched twice a year to help maintain it. My mom, she had breast cancer before. She's in remission, thank God. But the road's bad. And it's been bladed before. There's 5 blades off the top of my head that we know of that have been bladed since, like I said, the 40s. And it disappeared. What happened to those maps? One day was a green road. And so we're just requesting to get it put back on.
Thank you very much.
If I could ask you on the Camino del Sol, do you know how long it is? What's the length of that road?
Slipaway lane?
This is a different road. It's Slipaway
Okay.
Lane.
Okay, I'm sorry. Slipaway Lane.
It's about what?
It's 6/10 to our driveway. And we're the one that reside on that property. But it goes back, it's almost right around a mile, the whole length of it to the Van property. But to where our residence at is 6/10.
Okay.
And how many residents are on it?
It's just us on that road. But like I said, it was a green road, so it's like now, and that wasn't even people back that lived on it back then. They'd come from California, and you guys would go maintain the road. Now that there's residents who've been on that road for the past 11 years, you know, whereas how come it got just taken off out of nowhere?
Just to correct you, when you said that we turned them to red roads that had never been touched, one of the roads was a green road that had been paved before, and it turned to a red road. And the other is a road that is 9/10 that we adopted as a green road, and it has 70 residents on it.
Okay. Because I'm just saying, I just heard that you guys had turned some roads that hadn't been maintained as much, so I apologize for the
Okay.
information, the incorrect information.
No, that's not a problem. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So we had those several requests. We've heard from Commissioner Tapia and Commissioner Freiberger. And so I would just like to kind of wrap up a comment from myself, especially in regards to District 3. The road that was approved at the last meeting is in my district, Mr. Cody. You don't actually have a request on the road. And you did kind of make a comment already on roads, so are you okay with me just going forward?
Well, I have one more comment.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
One of the top responsibilities of the county commissioner is to take care of such things as roads. Some of these roads may have been covertly eliminated, some of them may not have. Some of this may have to do with developers that were approved by planning and zoning in the past, which made promises of maintaining roads, or nobody cared, but the fact is you're paying the piper. This happened, and now you've got bad roads, the school buses get broken on, and all kinds of other horror stories. And whether you like it or not, you may have to approve a lot of roads for more maintenance because of the past actions that have gone on in Torrance County. You can't just go by procedure as it stands now and not look at the past and look at the mistakes that may have been made in the past. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So with that, I'll just quickly try to make my comment. When I first took office, one of the first people that contacted me about a road were the tollers, and that is actually the road that was approved at the last meeting. Probably very shortly after that, I got a call from Betty Lillian Lujan, who's here in the audience as well. So the difference between the two roads for me is I wanted them both to be maintained. Mr. Toller's road is a green road, so it was easier on that end because for 4 years he would call and come over and bring me deeds and documents and consistently show me, I'm a green road, why won't you come? Why won't you just come out and blade the road? I'm already on the map. And so, you know, I would tell Mr. Toller, we're not accepting new roads. I know that Ms. Ortiz brought forth at the last commission meeting that there was a moratorium on roads. But no matter kind of like what you tell the people, it's like, this was maintained in the past, it needs to be maintained in the future. I don't know what your policies are, but you need to work on them and come back to me with the response. So for 4 years, I did everything I could to explain to Mr. Toller about, you know, are you a green road, a red road, and he'd bring the documents. Then as a commissioner, when you're contacted by a constituent who is in the middle of cancer treatment and is asking to have their road bladed, and that road has been bladed in the past, and why can't you blade it now? It put me in a position of, well, if we've been there, we've put our equipment down on that road before, why can't we go out and do it again? It's a green road. Well, then we come back to look at a map, and now it's not on the map, and you have a resident saying it's been on the map since the 40s, and you have staff saying, prove it. These are the maps I have. So it puts commissioners in a tough spot. I'm not asking anyone to feel sorry for us or anything like that. We put our name on the ballot, and we take every hit, whether it's good or bad. We ask for it, and it's an honor to serve you. So someone told me yesterday, this is what you get. You open Pandora's box and be prepared to deal with it. And I know Commissioner Tapia did tell us, you're going to do this, you be ready. And I knew that all along as I have sat here for 4 years now, knowing what was going to come. But to me, not only these requests do I want to have them considered, I would move to table all of these requests so that everyone who'd like to be considered can come forward. I know in the past we've sat down with Martine and Leonard and they said, you know what? Why don't you have meetings where the public can come and request and have a dialogue with you so that we can decide what roads to take on, because the road department is in the same spot we are. They get the same questions. Why are you putting material there? Why is this road happening? Why is that road happening? So all of us receive pressure from a lot of different places. How do we determine what road? How do we fix this? So do we just have a moratorium and say we're just not going to take on any roads? This is going to open Pandora's box. Or do we just say, you know what, let's open it, and I think it's worth it because this is going to force us to do something with our policies and to let the people be heard. So one last thing that I want to say is one thing that I put out when I first became a commissioner, probably a year in, is I had heard from a different county, and you can learn from other places, and somebody's already gone through this problem. So if you call enough people, you'll get some good advice. And there was an opportunity this man told me about. Well, it's so hard because everyone's related, and how do you even get to make a decision? He goes, but what we did in our county is we had some consultants come in, and I'm kind of famous for going to consultants, but I think it's good to have people come in who aren't related or don't live here so that they can just have a fresh pair of eyes and look at the roads. And what I proposed was, why don't we have some consultants come in and look at all of our roads and look at the width of our roads, help us put together a policy, a policy manual so that we could have consistent width, consistent bar ditches, so that we know how to move forward. And then look at, okay, how many people live on this road? When was the last time this road got material? How many people go on a school bus? How many elderly do we have? Really just break it down and analyze each road with the same test. So then we can come back and say, okay, this is the mileage, this is the last time it got material, this is how many people are there. And I even proposed, let's have a traffic counter. I mean, I tried to think of anything that somebody would throw and say, okay, what about this, what about that? So then I proposed that and said, you know, we could even get a CDBG planning grant to have a consultant come in and look at it. But it wasn't well received at the time. I don't know, you know, I don't know why. Maybe I didn't present it well enough, or maybe it wasn't the time then. But it looks like the time is now, and I'm glad. And even if we take some criticism for accepting a road, you can't just forever say we're not going to do anything. We need to do something. So if we're forced into it now, I'm pleased by that fact. Will we be able to take on every road? No, because really what we've done since I've been here for 4 years, we took off maybe 4 miles of road. So really we're only going to be able to pick up 4 miles of road because we're only going to be paid that much money to do the roads. We can't take on an unlimited amount because we haven't taken off. There's very few people that will come and say, I don't want you to take care of our road anymore. We had a couple, and so that's why we're able to take on a few. So there's a lot that goes on into deciding this. And so the other thing that I want to kind of put out there is people say, I pay my taxes, you fix my road. You know, that's your job. I don't care how you do it or how you guys fight it out at the table. I pay my taxes. So then I like to remind people that the way that we get money for our roads is only through 2 gas stations in our county. We have one in Klein's Corners, and then we have one in Tajica, Ray's One Stop. That's 2 gas stations that we get taxes from for the roads. There's no way that there is enough taxes coming in from those 2 stations to fix all of the roads, and then we get a small amount from the state to maintain what we have. And there may be other pockets, I'm not, you know, hitting everything exactly as it is, but we don't have a big tax base coming in for roads. We have 2 gas stations. If you put gas in Estancia, that tax that you pay isn't going to go to your county road, that's going to go back to the municipality. Everything is broken down according to where you live, and there's a lot of laws and rules and districts. So I try to remind people of that as well. So today, are we going to be able to take on these roads? Are we going to be able to fix it all? No, but did we open Pandora's box? We absolutely did, and now we have to deal with how we're going to go forward. And I think that there's enough people who are passionate about it, including our road supervisors, and I commend Commissioner Tapia. She always goes to it for the staff, and I'm glad that she does because they do get a lot of criticism. They're not perfect, we're not perfect. You know, I even thought, do you regret the way you voted at the last meeting? Did you make that vote because you were frustrated, or was it the right thing to do? I stand by those 2 votes because what's going to happen now is we're going to be forced to figure out how are we going to move forward. And that's a good thing. So it gives the people more of a voice. So sometimes you need to be pushed from the outside to make change inside, and that's what we're gonna do. Now, we're not gonna have the answer today, but we're gonna work on it, and we're gonna fix it. And we don't wanna just hear from you guys, we wanna hear from everybody who has a consideration. And we can't do it all at one commission meeting. So I think that we are going to move forward, as Commissioner Tapia wants us to do. She wants us to look at, it's different. She wants us to look at our policies and procedures. I know council does, the staff does, I know Commissioner Freiberger does, and we're gonna do it. And you gotta, hold us to it because we gotta get it done. So, at this time, I'll ask the commissioners, do you want to go back to items 2 through 7 and make motions? Do you want to table? We have to make a decision, or how do you guys want to move forward? Because the people are here, we did hear from them, and I'm just one person. So what way do we want to proceed?
I'd like to hear from Leonard.
That would be great. Please come forward. Leonard, as you come forward, I also wanted to ask, I don't know if you've received a petition or if there's a petition being circulated. Do you have one to present today? Okay, thank you.
Still morning. Good morning.
Morning.
Leonard Yuhan, I'm with road foreman. Hemish Road, I guess we can go one by one here. Hemish Road is 1/10 of it is ours. That subdivision in Sunset Acres was accepted years ago when they did it before my time. They only accepted 3 of the roads on the west side of it, which have been all chip sealed, and they're not dirt no more. The rest of the subdivision was not accepted into it. I know that Hemish continues out. It's about 8/10 of a mile to finish it out. There is probably, over 150 homes that do come out that road because it is a subdivision. There's 3 other roads in that area. That road, I don't know at what time they stopped blading it. It was done, I know, by a private contractor. I used to see the contractor a lot. He was the old road foreman. And then nobody's been out there to do it since then. We have never touched the road because it's not ours. It's considered private to us. The other road, Slipway Lane, before I came road foreman, I know it's been done. I was one of the persons that done it. I was an operator.
And it was a green road?
I wasn't foreman at that time, so I don't know. They just told me blade it, I bladed it. That's what I did. And when I became foreman, I never found it on a map, and we never done it since then. Because we told ourselves we were not gonna do roads that were not on the maps. And we've been trying to work on our maps, and our maps are almost there. We had somebody say that we need to maintain all the green roads. If you look at our map, it is printed totally wrong. There is more mileage in Green Road than there is in Red Road. Because roads that are printed, they just printed cow trails, everything is a green road out there on our map, which they are not. There was a procedure done years back in the 70s that they put some people together that went out there to figure out which was a green road, which wasn't a green road, and what would be maintained. The green road is maintained once a year by request if the road foreman says it's needed. That's what the policy says. Red Road was adopted by the commission to maintain. Any road to be brought into county maintenance has to be brought up to specs, gravel, ditches, culverts, before it'll even be thought of being brought up into it. I mean, we got 2 roads that were adopted last meeting that we're gonna maintain, which we're still looking at because it does say if it meets ordinances. So we're still looking at that to see if they are brought up to the ordinance it's supposed to be. I mean, there's just little things here and there. I mean, the maps work. We've been trying as much as we can to bring everything up to date, but it just takes time. It's a big county, a lot of miles, a lot of people.
So I have a question then on the, kind of like the slipaway lane, because, because you bladed it as a staff member, and then when you became a foreman, you didn't see it on the map. Was there a time was there a revision, like, where it's documented of who was taken off and who was, because they swear that it was on there, but then there's not one on the map. So was there a time where roads were just taken off, or?
There was just, what I know of is the foremen before me, all that was, they were building the maps, getting them ready to print them and all that. They were actually going out and doing the roll addressing and all this. We had a 60 map, it was a 1969 map or 60 map, and they were marking on that map which roads were where and where they went. Because in the old days, it was just, they come and say, this is my road, they did. don't work that way anymore. It's totally different. And the map just kind of just worked their way through all the foremen, and they marked the roads that were there. And then that policy went together, the guys went out, there was a group, I think it was 7 or something, that they did put, there was 5 people on the board to go out and say, okay, yeah, this one's green, this one ain't. And that's what we've been looking for, is trying to find all of that documentation showing which ones were and which ones weren't. It's a working process, and we're looking since the 50s to now, trying to find stuff, so it's a little tough.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the pressure on. You say you're close. How close are we?
Our book is done. The atlas book that you guys have, you guys should each have one, that's done. Other than we keep making changes because road names change and stuff here and there. That one's changed. Our map is ready to get printed, we just need to get it to the print shop because it does cost a lot of money to print it. And we're not just making one print, we're making a bunch of prints, so. But as roads get changed, and you take a road off or add a road on, well, that has to be in the map at the same time, so it's kind of back and forth.
So give us an idea budget-wise. We've had roads taken off, but our budget, your budget, has decreased also.
Yeah.
So are we capable of taking those roads back on, or are we kind of glad they're gone because we really don't have the money to make them better?
It's better that they're off, because right now the revenue coming in ain't keeping up with what we're actually spending. I mean, we're trying to cut back as much as we can, but we still gotta maintain and keep the roads open for the public, so. I would think now is not a good time to accept any roads, till we figure out what we're gonna do with our budget and see what's gonna happen out there. I mean, if we get a monster storm in the next 3 months, somebody's gonna be either shoveling their way out, because the machine ain't gonna be running, because there's not gonna be no funding for it.
And I think this is the hard part, especially with this department, is the decisions that we make up here are just not for our district. When we make a decision up here, we have to think of what we're doing to the county as a whole, because if we accept roads in your district, that's taking money out of the budget for the county as a whole. And that's where I think we need to be very careful and tread lightly on these decisions, because it's not just your, to be careful, and we need to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row before we start taking on these roads. Would I like to fix everybody's road? I would. Do I have people come and say, I need my road? Yeah. But we have to look at, in this particular, we have to look at Torrance County as a whole of the decisions that we're making here, because we can either make or break our road department, and then all of Torrance County suffers, not just a few people.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Freiberger, do you have any questions or comments?
I do. I would like to see the policy on green roads, because that's a third different interpretation of a green road I've heard.
Put them on the website.
And so, I asked last time for that policy to be here, and yet, there's this policy, but it's nowhere.
Floating around, nobody has
So
it.
the other thing is that the ordinance that you talk about, the ordinance, there's one that shows what are required of a county road, and it shows the different specs of a county road. And then it shows the adoption of a subdivision that's in there. But in the adoption of the subdivision, it states that unless the county decides, and this commission is the county, and this is what we're elected to do. We are here to represent everybody that's in this audience. And so when we ask, that a road is to be bladed, I can tell you, how many miles did you chip seal this year?
Total?
Total.
What, new or relifts?
Just new.
New roads, 3.5 miles.
Okay, at 3.5 miles, there's 3.5 miles you don't have to blade. So, the money that was being spent to blade those 3.5 miles now has been. Now, I agree with you on your budget. At your budget right now, you are $300,000 in the red. Now, you have money coming in at the 1st of January, but that money is already spent. And what I've noticed in your budget, and what I've noticed on the county budget is, we're spending next year's money coming from the state. We've already spent it. So whether we need to hold back and blade roads, and maybe do that and not chip seal anymore, then, then that's what we need to do. We need to, I believe, look at our road budget better and decide where we have better spending. I can tell you that the two roads that you've requested, 30 some odd $1,000 to fog seal, the two roads, my question to you would be, why did you chip seal two roads when you knew you didn't have the money to fog seal? And instead just go ahead and chip seal one road and fog seal, and then wait on next year's money coming in to chip seal the other one.
Because when I asked for the money, McNabb has been chip sealed for 10 years. And I just want to refog it to try and get some more years out of it. I did not chip seal it this year. 001 was chip sealed this year, which was a relift, which we widened the road, but the price of the oils had went up, so we couldn't afford the fog seal. That's why we're asking for money to fog seal that road.
Well, in the request, it shows two different roads. One's that you both chip sealed, and that you wanted to
They're
fog
both
seal.
chip sealed. One's McNabb, one's 001.
But I think, we approved the two roads at the last commission meeting. I stated that we would look at every single road that came in the request to where we could see if we could afford it. We did a cost analysis on my road. I did research on the road in my district. And now we'll ask the road department to take these roads that have been requested and provide the commission a cost analysis of what it would take to bring these roads up to where we can start maintaining them.
And I can do that, that's no
Okay.
problem, we can do that. But I have one question is, when I get calls, we get calls all the time on accepting roads or not roads, do I have them come and ask the commission, or do I go and have them ask per district? Because that's what it seems like when you're at a meeting anymore. If you sit in the audience, it turns into district, not commission.
I would
Who do I tell
entertain,
them to ask?
I would say in District 1, have them give me a call to where I can work with it. I would rather come to the commission as a representative for my constituents in getting a road done than to have somebody requesting out here, in an open meeting. I would rather bring that research to the commission, which I did, which Commissioner, Madam Chair did. I would rather them call me.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because I hate to sell them, well, go ask the commission, and then they get here and it turns into, well, my district, my district, my district. Well, we thought we voted you in for the county, not for a certain class.
I don't think anybody here today has said my district.
I probably have, and I'm sure that comment is directed to me. I think I can consistently refer to District 3, or I'll say constituents in my district, and if I'm not mindful of my words, I apologize. I think I've, been very fair to the whole county, but I'm not going to sit here and say, I do represent District 3. That's who goes to the polls to vote, and if I refer to them as my constituents, they are the constituents that voted me in. Do I think of the whole county? Absolutely, of course. Anyone who sits in this seat would. But I'm not going to lose sleep over saying if I say my district. I apologize if it sounds hurtful or that I don't care about the whole county. But I do have to represent District 3. That's why people voted for me or didn't vote for me, and it's hard, but I think we could all disagree on a lot of things, but I think just even putting your name on the ballot, you would have to know that we care about this whole county. I didn't vote no on a request for a fog seal in your road, in your area, so.
And, and to add to that, Madam Chair, is that it is my district. We are elected to that single district, but in a 3-commission panel, none of us can talk to each other. I can't call Leanne and say, hey, I'm going to need your support on this. I would like that. I cannot call Vanessa. So when we come to this table, we represent the county as a whole. Are we asking requests for our districts? Yes, we are. Because those are the people that voted us in, and those are the people I feel I represent.
Well, but you should, I agree. I just think that when it comes to the meeting, the district thing really just don't sit right when you sit out there in the audience.
How,
You know,
but we
except-
need, but we need your, you know, like when you talked about, let's have totally separate meetings outside of the commission where the people come in and present. What was your idea that you and Martine had about that? What, you know, what would you recommend how we go forward? You've been here much longer than us. Do you know of another process that would work better?
We tried, I brought it up that one time and it never went forward from there either,
So
it
one-
gets to a certain point and then it seems to get blown away, so it doesn't matter what.
No, but it does
You know,
matter. So do you recommend having meetings in each district? One meeting here and everybody from District 1, 2, and 3 come to the meeting, get on a list? How do you think we could solve it? Like, is there, what could be a solution?
Well, there's probably more than one solution to it.
Okay.
It's just finding the right ones and be the fit. You know, and I've talked to everybody about it, and I've said that it should be, they should come and ask for their road change. Well, I agree, but it has to be a county maintained road. You know, we accepted a road, that one that's, you know, they're outshire from a green to a red. But what about the person that asked for a road that's never had maintenance? But this guy did. So we took favoritism on this guy because his was already maintained and made it more maintained, but we left this guy alone.
But it's not favoritism, it's what's legally allowed. If
Yeah,
somebody who
right.
comes forward who says, you know, can you help me? And then you look at your policy and like, oh, there's really not a way to help you. Or we bring it and we decide. Or if you look at something and it's okay, if you're on the list, then maybe you have more hope than someone that's never been on the list to go from green to red. Our equipment has been on that road before. Our equipment legally has been on that road and can be on there once a year or twice a year or 3 times a year, whatever the policy says, because it keeps being presented differently. It wasn't favoritism. It's been a green road. So because it has been, we could consider it going forward. Easier than if it wasn't. So I know your frustration, but there has to be a solution, and now we're going to be forced to have to find it. And I know that you'll be a big part of that, and I know Martine will also.
I think part of the solution is going back to our policies and redoing them and getting them to where we're at today. Because like you said before you just said, hey, come blade my road, and it was done. We can't do that anymore. So we need to go back and we need to work on the policies and the ordinances and get those to where when somebody comes, we can say, yes, you need to do this, 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 and this, and it's across the board. This way, we're not telling people different things. We all know what's expected of us. You know what's expected of you. And if this discussion has been brought up because of, you know, what's transpired, then it's a good thing. Because, I mean, in all of the departments, we're a few years behind on our stuff. So if this commission, because of the way we think, has forced everybody to go, okay, we need to, you know, start moving along, then that's what we need to do. And so that's going to be a part of the solution is let's just really diligently work toward getting that map done, getting the policies. If there's 5 policy books out there, let's condense it, get it down to 1, and then this way when people come, we can say, here it is. This is what we've decided. And then that'll help the solution. And it's going to be a lot of work, and it's hard because we're already stretched very thin. And I get that.
Maybe we could do like a committee of, we could ask, like when we ask for planning and zoning people to volunteer, maybe we could put together a core group of people whose mission is to come forward and present something that would work. Because not only are you guys being bombarded with, you're not doing your job, you guys, the blade just sits there on and on and on, then you get calls from us. You know, if you can have maybe once a month or whatever the time schedule is, you and Martine and a core group of volunteers and some staff come together and put something together that's going to work, because I think that's going to be the best way maybe to go forward. But not to not include you guys in the process. You guys are the experts, so I don't want you guys to feel like we're just going to force this on you and you're going to do it our way, but just come forward and let's fix it. I've asked you, we've had so many meetings, Leonard, I know you care. If you wouldn't, everyone who works for this county wouldn't work here for the amount of pay that you guys get if there wasn't a passion for the service. So let's move forward, let's come together. Do you think that having a work group come together, some people from the public, or let's pick a date. Let's do something positive right now. What can we do? Would you support that?
I'm willing to try anything, it's really different, but we just need to figure out the right one. Nick, you gonna say something? You're on your way up.
Next to the risk manager, safety officer, I was just wanting to confirm that each and every county commissioner did receive our county zone atlas. Because in 2010, myself, GIS, 911, and the road department worked on that map, and all of county maintained roads are distinguished on that zone atlas. Everybody refers to it as a county road. Yes, we have hundreds of county roads. It's just whether it's county maintained or not. If you would like a large-scale copy of that map, please get with me prior to your departure, and you'll be able to see it in the 36 by 48 format. So.
Oh, and you guys worked hard to put that together, and that's something we didn't have, and you should be commended for
The map is
that.
ready. We just haven't gone to publish it because of. I know of one road that's been eliminated, and that was Yankee Road, and that was a request from the property owner that they did not want county maintenance. So that, as far as I know, that's the only road that might be wrong. But please get with me before you leave today, and we'll get you a copy of that.
Thank you. So as commissioners, would we like to maybe have a work session put on our next agenda to kind of get the process started, to start talking about it? Or would you prefer that this is something that is addressed when your new commissioner comes on board and that's one of your first items of business? How would this commission like to proceed, since I'm on my way out?
I would recommend that we would wait till Libra gets here.
Okay, Commissioner Freiberger?
I think also I would like your input to it because of your experience and your serving the constituents in District 3 for so long. I would be happy to invite Leroy in since he would be part of it. But I think also with the transition that you should be a vital part.
Well, we have to look at the time frame too, because it's already November, December. And then the thing is, are we gonna be able to get that committee formed and a meeting done in the next month and a half, 2 months?
Are you
So-
disappearing after January?
Well,
No, I'll come.
Yeah.
I'll come.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
is whether
after.
it's
Okay.
now or whether she's commissioner or he's commissioner, either way, I think both of you should be involved in it.
I'd be honored to come and sit on that and just give some advice, whether I'm on a board member or just someone who's living in Torrance.
I didn't
So
really say anything about giving advice.
you want me just to sit in there?
I just want you to come here and
I am capable of being quiet, you'll see. Thank you guys for sitting through that, being a part of pushing us to the next level. It's going to be a positive thing, and we're going to get there. The reason why I didn't bring up item 8 in all of this, because I think it's completely separate. It's a totally different issue, but we are going to move to that item of business now. It's discussion of Marty Road, and Mr. Bruce Strickland is. You want to table it?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
we need motions, correct?
well,
Okay.
I move that we table item 3 through 7.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Question for clarification. Since it's been tabled, it will appear on the next agenda.
That's correct.
Is that how the commission wants it?
We need to wait till we find out some information first.
I think what she's saying though is if, just as a matter of procedure, if we table it, they have to keep putting it back on the agenda. If we don't take action, then it doesn't have to appear right on the next agenda. We can put it back. What would you recommend, Dennis?
What we've historically done, and depends on what version of Robert's rules, but what we've done and the version we've looked at is if you table it, it appears on the next agenda. You can table it again. As I understand it, you're tabling it, waiting for staff reports on these roads. That's my understanding. So if they're not available at the next meeting, you can table it again and just until you get the information that you want to make a decision.
Now, if we don't table, just because if, the Lujan see the next agenda and they see it on there, they're going to be like, well, do we come? Do we not come? So how would you recommend? They just call in and say, do I need to be present?
I think that, yes, that they ought to get a hold of the manager's office, and the manager's office will be coordinating getting the staff information that the commission has requested.
So we'd like it to appear then on the next agenda?
Yes.
Okay, so we had a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you so much.